Hi, folks. I'm Pat Healey from the Laker News. I'm here this morning with Brooklyn Peyton from Waverley. She's a Larkview High rugby player who just announced she's committed to St. FX. So we're going to have a little interview here with her and ask her some questions. Um, Anything you'd like to say before we begin there, Brooklyn?
No, you can go right ahead with the questions.
Okay, cool. How did all this come about with you going to X?
Sure. So I started playing rugby when I was in grade nine. Um, it ended up being a great success for me. I was on the starting lineup, and then I was on Celtics for Nova Scotia, which that was very exciting. So yeah, I committed to Saint FX yesterday officially. um, yeah, so it ended up being a big journey. I think I started. So you can send out recruitment forms. I think that was in September. September, October, when I sent them out. So I sent them out to about 12 or 13 schools, and 10 schools actually got back to me. So yeah, we started having Zoom calls with the coaches, and I got the opportunity to physically talk to them and talk about their program, which was fantastic. And then after like the past 2 months, I've just been choosing between Acadia and St. FX because they had fantastic programs. But yeah, and then I chose St. FX because they did have the better program for me. I can minor in sports psychology or sports management, which at Acadia you can just major in kinesiology, but in St. FX I can major in human kinetics, which is kinesiology, and then minor and then in sports psychology, which was a great opportunity. So yeah, it was fantastic.
Awesome. What are your thoughts on X? Officially making the announcement.
Oh, it was so exciting. My dad and I just went up to St. FX maybe like once or twice, and like I said, I had the opportunity to step onto the field, which was great. I turned my back, and then I saw just the entire stands, and I could just hear the chant X X, and it gave me chills down my spine. It was fantastic, and then just being around the campus just felt like home.
And X has a really good rugby program too. I think they've won like national championships or something.
Yeah, yeah, they're an amazing team. Acadia and St. FX always compete for the Atlantic Championships, and ends up being really close. So those two schools are really good for the rugby programs. But yeah, they compete every year for a national championship. They go down to California during Thanksgiving. They can't because of COVID now, but
Yeah,
they did, and
yeah.
yeah, it was amazing.
What does it mean to you to choose to go to X and why?
Yeah, like I said, it was just about the program. They just have a fantastic program. I would talk to some girls on the team because most of them do take kinesiology,
Yeah,
and they said they absolutely love the program there. It's awesome to minor in whatever you want to do. They have outside kind of class work instead of just all in class, so you can go out to a field and kind of like play soccer, for example, and then like they'll stop the game, be like, okay, here are the components in the body that you're using, which I find that really fascinating. I find I can learn more in the movement instead of just in a classroom. So yeah.
Um, you mentioned how you were recruited by 10 10 other universities to go. What set X above the other nine, I guess now?
um Yeah, just being able to see the campus, of course, that was a big one because of COVID. COVID was rough, but I just loved talking to the coach, Mike Kavanaugh. He was always available for me. He went to go see me actually after my knee surgery. My first couple games were just in sevens, which was in October, and he actually came out to see me play. And I couldn't personally meet him because again of COVID and
Yeah.
stuff, but he got the opportunity to actually see me, which was actually really nice. So yeah, it's just yeah, their program, their rugby coach is amazing. I always felt comfortable around him. The campus was spectacular. I loved everything about it.
And now you mentioned COVID a few times. How has that played in trying to go see these campuses and also in the recruiting process? Because I think the season didn't really happen much.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately. Yeah. So basically, it was kind of a weird process because you can't physically go and see the campuses, which sucks. But what I had to do was send out recruitment forms, just fill it out. My dad and I actually went to the Enfield field, like the
Uh,
dome, and I just did some kicks, and then my dad took videos of me playing in sevens, and we just put it all in one clip, and then just sent it off to coaches. So once they contacted me after the recruitment form, we sent them that, and they seemed really interested. They said I did really well and stuff. So yeah, and then we kept going on Zoom calls, talk about their programs, what it's like in a rugby day there, yeah, and just about their kinesiology programs. Um, yeah, so yeah, talking, not being there specifically at the campus was really, really hard. Um, but but luckily I had the opportunity to visit Cadia and Santa FX and know where I really wanted to go.
and like, how did COVID play a role in them not being able to see you on the field?
Did COVID play a role?
Yeah, because
Um,
like I don't think the season really even took place as much as what it normally does.
yeah, yeah, COVID really sucks about it. I guess it really stood out that Mike got to see me physically, like he physically drove down to Churro to see me. That really said a lot. Zoom calls, every coach that like all 10 schools did it, but I guess Mike really stood out by whenever I would text him, he would text me literally like a minute later, and he would just always really be there. Whenever I had a question, he would be like, okay, just call me. And then yeah, just I guess the fact that he was actually just there, wanted to see me play, was huge.
That's good answer, and I mean that just shows how much interest they had in you and making sure they landed you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I just really appreciated that because I was out for 2 years with my knee surgery.
Yeah,
Like it was my first games back, of course, weren't good,
yeah.
but he saw potential in me, and he saw my um yeah, he saw my potential, and he saw my drive, which is super important. So, yeah.
What does that mean too? Because you had, 2 years you were off with the knee surgery, injuries, and then just to be able to come back and then you get to go, X shows the interest to you despite having that layoff time.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question along
Just
with
what does it mean because of you having to, come back off your injury
Yeah.
and then being able to still get a highly coveted school interest in you?
Well, yeah, it's really huge, like I said, that he was there and that they are such a high level program, that it really said a lot that he really did want me, for like just how I was playing and how I was leading the team, and he really saw a potential in me. He really loved my kicking that I was doing in my tournaments. We had about like 3 tournaments, I think. So he really loved my kicking that I did, the plays that I did. Um, yeah.
Other schools were like across Canada that were interested in you.
Yeah. The farthest was Calgary, U of
Okay.
Calgary. Um, and yeah, the closest was Acadia and St. FX. So I can name off all the schools if you like.
I just wanted a range of where they were from Canada, so
Oh,
that's why I asked. So perfect. Anything else you would like to add? Any thank yous to people that have helped you along the way?
yeah, a big thank you to my family. I really appreciate their support. They've been always been by my side, even through the rough times, like through my knee surgery, of course. That was really a rough road, but yeah, they've always been there, helping me train, which I really appreciate. I really appreciate you, Pat. Thank you for always being there for me. I really appreciate talking to all the coaches across Canada. I especially want to thank Cadia coach Matt Durant and St. FX coach Mike Kavanaugh for um, recruiting me and making me feel part of, making me feel like Cadia and St. FX were like home.